What up, world? Welcome to another episode of the BrandonJaneauShow. As you know, I am BrandonJaneau, and like always on all podcast platforms everywhere, BrandonJaneauShow, social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, BrandonJaneauShow, and of course, YouTube channel, BrandonJaneauShow. Go subscribe, man. Comment. I do comment back, like the vids, everything. Shout out to all the new subscribers, man. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Because tonight is, of course, I bleed sports. It has been it has been a crazy week, crazy week in sports, to say the least. Um, so where should I start? Oh, how about this? So, Lomachenko beat uh George Kambosos last Saturday. That wasn't surprising. George Kambosos is not that guy. He never really was. He fought Teofimo Lopez and beat him, but Teofimo literally was literally a inch away from death before he actually stepped in the ring with him. So yeah, yeah. Um, Armachenko beat George Kambosos, won the belt. Um, but that's not what I care about. It's what happened on social media around this time that was really interesting, and that is Tank Davis saying, "Yo, Lama's next. Let me get rid of Frank Martin, and Lomachenko is next." Now, people have been saying for years, Loma and Tank. That makes perfect sense to everybody. Let that happen. Let it happen. Well, it seems that Tank is like, no, it's gonna happen. And for that alone, watching Loma fight George Kambosos, listen, I don't know what's gonna happen if Loma and Tank fight. First, Tank gotta get past Frank Martin, and that's in June. But if he gets past him and they actually do fight each other, the fights that Loma has actually somewhat have problems with is fights that he can't he's not the quicker man. And he's got to fight from a different angle. You know, the Devin Haney fight was a perfect example of that. Devin Haney could just jab Loma, kind of keep him at a distance. Loma likes to come in and get them little pot shots in. Tank is different. Tank is a boxer. Tank actually knows how to box. And if you lost to Devin Haney, who all he really had was, jabbing and kind of keeping distance, against a guy like Tank who is really committed to what he does defensively, and also his boxing IQ is better. As good as Loma is, that might be the fight where he shows his age and can't really get him out of there. Now, the fight that he had against George Kambosos Saturday, that was kind of obvious. It kind of seemed like that was a perfect fight for him. It was a big ass lob right up to him to dunk it and put it and finish it. So I'm not too surprised that Loma beat uh, Lomachenko beat Kambosos at all. I literally said last week that that was gonna happen. I'm not surprised that we're near that. I'm not surprised at all that happened. Um, Tank versus Loma is a great fight, but also Shakur Stevenson has been saying, "Yo, Tank don't want to fight me. Tank knows what's up. Like if I get in the ring with Tank, I would hurt Tank." Which brings me to the Shakur Stevenson side of it, which is like I want to see what Shakur Stevenson and Tank fight will look like. Shakur is a little young, but he kind of has the same type of energy of a Tank. The fights I've seen Shakur in now earlier in his fights, he used to be very like Floyd Mayweather, boring, but he won off of the points and he won off of the ability to defend, and that's kind of how Shakur was early in his career. And then he had like a couple fights in the middle of that where the Jamal Herning fight, he dominated that fight. Like that shit was so bad to watch. Even the Oscar Valdez fight, like it was just like god damn, like they like they beat like Shakur was whooping their ass. Like it was like god damn. He fought the Asian dude too. and whooped his ass. I'm like, this dude's different. But Shakur has those fights where he kind of also just doesn't fucking show up, and he kind of just relies off of the defense, relies off the ability to the box, outbox his opponents, and that's why I feel like even if he gets in the ring with Tank, he's gonna actually have to outclass Tank in that sense, and I don't know if Shakur is ready for that. But I will agree with one thing he's been saying in his press conference, his interviews. A lot of people have backed the fuck out of fighting him. Frank Martin backed out of the fight for him. There was a lot of people that backed out of fighting Shakur Stevenson. Devin Haney literally left the division because he knew Shakur Stevenson was somebody who was actually going to have to fight. And he went up another division because he did not want to fight that dude. And Tank, but particularly Shakur Stevenson got in the ring and was like, let's fight. What's up? Let's do this. And Devin Haney was like, I'm going to go fight Regis Prograis. It's like, I'm going to go fight Regis Prograis. That's an easier fight. That's a way easier fight. And that's the thing, man. Speaking of that, big, big fight this Saturday. Heavyweight, undisputed heavyweight championship will be determined who will be the undisputed heavyweight champion. Um, Tyson Fury versus Usyk finally is going to happen this Saturday in Dubai. Um, Fury at the press conference today didn't even look at Usyk while they were supposed to do the face off. He's like facing straight, and Usyk is dead staring at him. I'm gonna be honest, man. I think don't get it twisted. I think the Fury fight that he had against Francis Ngannou is literally years ago to a boxer. That's years ago. I think Fury is actually focused on this fight, and I think Fury will actually hurt Usyk. I've seen Usyk box a couple times. The last fight he had before this Fury fight was announced against dude from France. That nigga whooped his ass. Like, like he tagged Usyk a couple of fucking times in that fight. Dropped him a couple of times in that fight. They try to wave one of those knockdowns off because he got tagged, and it was like, oh, it's Rada in the ring, so we can't really. But I saw the punch. That bow. Usyk's like, ooh, shit. In fact, like, but Fury's been tagged a lot. I'm not gonna be mad. Like, Fury's been tagged a lot, but it's about the ability to get back up. I think Anthony Joshua has tagged Usyk before too. I just feel like, listen, it's one fight that Fury had where we were just like, what the fuck was that? And I think it's because he didn't take Odu serious. I think he really was just like, if he catch me, he catch me. Okay, cool. I think Fury really didn't even take dude serious, and that's kind of why I think he got his ass hit and knocked down and kind of looked like the guy he looked like. But I think with this fight, I think he's been in training. He's now heard everybody tell him that maybe you're getting older, maybe you're getting up there in that age, maybe you really ain't that guy no more. And I think Saturday he's gonna show up and show out. I think Usyk is gonna get his ass whooped by Fury. That's just me. Which leads to the bigger fight for Fury, which is gonna be Anthony Joshua, which Anthony Joshua has built himself back up since losing to Usyk and losing to Anthony Ruiz. The last couple times he's been in these championship type of fights. Him versus Fury is the money fight. That's the money fight now. Hopefully they don't do it in Dubai. Hopefully they don't even do it in London. Hopefully they do it in Vegas. I know a lot of people that would probably pay them, maybe in Dubai to do it, but more importantly, if you do it like in Vegas, it would be like a better situation. But yeah, I want this fight Saturday. I hope it lives up to the hype. I hope. Last time we saw Fury, he got knocked down in a fight. The last time he had a title match against what a couple years ago, what Deontay Wilder. Wilder could catch him, but Wilder was never a boxer. This is Usyk versus him. I want to see how this is gonna look, and I hope it lives up to the hype. I really fucking do. Another boxing match. I've talked about this before, but it's Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. They had their press conference as well. Here and Jake Paul was like, "Look, I idolize Mike Tyson. He's great, all that." But what Mike Tyson said, Mike Tyson said Jake Paul better fight like his life depend on it, cause it does. What, nigga? Like, yo, what? Yo, that nigga Mike Tyson literally said, yo, he better fight like his life depends on it, cause it does. Like, no. Abort that mission. Fuck that. I'm not fighting you, bro. I'm not fighting you. No, nigga, I'm not fighting you. Oh, no. Mm-mm. Nope. Abort mission. I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting Mike Tyson. I don't give a shit how old that nigga is. I'm seeing Jake Paul train and he hitting the pads and shit. Yo, Mike Tyson's trainer is praying to God every time Mike Tyson starts to hit the pad just a little bit. Nigga. Boom, that nigga trainer like, what the fuck? Hey, bro, I'm on your side. Like, I'm hey, yo, bro, I'm on your side. Why are you hitting this goddamn pads hard? Like, it's just like, yo, I've never seen someone just be like, hey, nigga, I'm on your side, bro. Like, we're, like, like, you don't have to hit this fucking hard, bro. We good. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, man, this shit is nuts. That fight is gonna be funny as hell to watch. I'm not even gonna lie, it's gonna be funny. Oh, so speaking of that, boxing is coming back in video game form. Undisputed is announced that it will be coming out. I think they said October, November of this year. So the boxing game will be out. Undisputed. Uh, it's funny because I literally was like, "Yo, we finally got college football back. Can we finally get fight night? Can we get a boxing game?" And now we're going to get a boxing game. So that's awesome. I love that. That we're finally getting all our games back. I don't know what other game I could ask for. God, I don't know what other game I could ask for. I'm trying to think. Oh, Def Jam Vendetta. We get like a new Def Jam, like an actual new Def Jam with actual real artists that we actually give a fuck about. I would take that as well. I would take that as well. Um, I would take that as well. Mix some old with some new characters. I'll take that as well. Okay. The season has started in the W. You know what the W is? The WNBA. I've seen a lot of people speak on it. Uh, I love the fact that it's getting the love that it's getting. I think the one thing about the WNBA right now is they're doing an amazing job on trying to capitalize on Caitlin Clark, and that's amazing. What I think they're fucking up is that you have a figure like Caitlin Clark, but you have no opponent for her, like no built-in rival for her, and that's why I think they're dropping the ball. Because to me personally, I feel like I feel like you should be also promoting Angela Reese like you're promoting Caitlin Clark. I think Angela Reese has just about as big of a star power as Caitlin Clark, probably if not bigger. Their games speak for themselves. But I do believe you should push both of these women and have it like the 80s had the NBA with a Larry Bird and a Magic Johnson. You know Caitlin Clark and Angela Reese are going to see each other eventually. Why not promote that rivalry and create it like it's your version of the Larry Bird Magic Johnson rivalry? And that will push your league into a whole nother stratosphere. Now, I don't know if they don't want to. I don't know. But that would be the smart thing to do. If Caitlin Clark is on TV 36 times this year, Angela Reese and the Chicago Sky should be on TV 36 fucking times. You should have, if Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever play the Sparks or the Aces or the Storm, which is West Conference Western teams with the Pacific time difference, and Chicago Sky play the Liberty or the Sun, you should have that be that. Like that should be the move, and have it like the NBA did Larry Bird, Magic Johnson in the '80s. That would be the move. I don't know why the W, because they're just trying to focus on Caitlin Clark, but you have so many amazing women that came into the league this draft. especially somebody that has the same brand, same pull, same people that would fuck with her too, and Angela Reese. Because the thing about the pushback, I think on Caitlin Clark is like y'all are continuously trying to push this girl, and nobody relates to her outside of the so-called demographic you're trying to push for. That's like Larry Bird not having Magic Johnson. It's like, okay, Larry, that's cool, but you're just a white boy. We're not gonna. You're great, great, but you need somebody to oppose you. You need somebody that has that same type of star power that you have, and that's Angela Reese to Caitlin Clark. And I don't know why they're not pushing it, not pushing the agenda. At least make it the Fever versus the Sky. And I get it; they're both not there yet. Both teams are really not there yet. But you can push that agenda in a noun sense because you're pushing Clayton and Clark as the face of the league, and she's only a fucking rookie. So don't sit there and say you can't push that rivalry because you can easily push that rivalry. Speaking of the NBA, speaking of basketball, NBA playoffs, tonight's only one game. Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves go back home after dropping three consecutive fucking games to the defending world champions, the Denver Nuggets. They're now playing for their playoff lives. And if this is true that Anthony Edwards leaving Denver told the people at the Denver building, hey, I'm gonna see y'all game seven. That's a confident ass dude, bro. Like I gotta get that motherfucker credit. Cause he like, I'm gonna see you game seven. Yeah, I'm gonna see y'all game seven. That's confidence, bro. Me personally, I think the thing that I've always said about the Minnesota Timberwolves, and this is why I kind of had my doubts about Minnesota, is in moments like this where the defense of Minnesota starts to get questionable. When you start moving Rudy Gobert out the paint like they're doing him right now, Karl Anthony Towns cannot. Karl Anthony Towns always has a moment where he just doesn't show the fuck up. It's not a knock on him. That's who the fuck he is. Like he just has games where he just don't show the fuck up. That is why I've been saying for a while. If I was Minnesota, I would have traded Karl Anthony Towns a long time ago. I would have pulled the trigger. I would have got rid of him, brought in somebody that I know can help Anthony Edwards and not shrink in those moments. And right now, Karl Anthony Towns is having games where he just like the game five. Dude got like injured. Like he just like started limping. He was limping off the court in game five. Like bro, like you cannot be hurt right now. You can't visibly show you're hurt right now. If you're gonna play, play. But don't fucking show you are bang the fuck up, bro. Like that is not a good sign because it's like, and I don't agree with Draymond Green in the senses of like Minnesota is giving up because when you got a player like Anthony Edwards, you're never gonna give up. That dude is never gonna let y'all feel like y'all giving up. But if Mike Conley's not playing, Karl Anthony Towns is already limping, and you actually have gotten worse defensively, adding the defensive player of the fucking year. Like it's not just a defensive player of the year, a four-time defensive player of the year. And your defense has gotten significantly worse since he's been back. That's a damn shame. Like I said, Minnesota is one of those teams during the offseason. I would build this team around Anthony Edwards, and I'll just be like, all right, Rudy Gobert, bye. Karl Anthony Towns, bye. I'm trading these motherfuckers. I'm getting them off of my team. Mike Conley, you can stay, but I got to get a younger point guard that kind of can help this man. Maybe Minnesota goes and tries to get Trae Young, or maybe they try to go find that movable piece that somebody's not really talking about. Maybe they go try to find a guard that really can fit them. If I was Minnesota, I've been saying this for a while. I would call up Boston and see if I get Derek White or Drew Holiday. I would try to get one of them pieces because if I'm Minnesota, I need another person that Anthony Edwards could feel like that. I would go get Derek White if I was Minnesota. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I would personally trade. I would trade because the one thing Boston kind of needs and Minnesota needs a reliable scorer and perimeter defender out and a switch. guy. If I was Minnesota, I would trade Karl Anthony Towns and try to see if I get Drew Holiday or Derek White. And I would move the pieces, man. And Kristaps Porzingis can get traded and flip him, and maybe go to Chicago and try to get Zach LaVine to come in and help, or maybe you go get Alex Caruso or something, because this team, this dynamic that you have in Minnesota, this is not gonna work, man. Rudy Gobert is again showing you in the playoffs. You move him the fuck around, he's a statue. He's like, and that also not just defensively but offensively. You're playing 5-on-4 the entire game because he's limited defensively if he's not in the paint, and then he's limited offensively because he can't fucking do anything outside of catching the rebound and dunking. You, you, you kind of hinder your team. And now you got Karl Anthony Towns and Mike Conley, who's also injured and banged up. I think Anthony Edwards is going to go off tonight. I think he's going to do his thing. But if I'm Minnesota, I'm like, okay, how do we make this team better? Like, immediately, how do we get this team where it needs to be? And you might be the only team that might can flip and get somebody from Phoenix. You might get Bradley Beal. I don't know if they're going to trade you Devin Booker, which I think you should try to go get anybody in the league. I know everybody's saying go get Trae Young. If I was anybody in the league and I'm Phoenix, I'm like, okay, what's really the asking price? What's really the asking price for Devin Booker? And if it's like there is no asking price because we're never gonna trade him. Okay, that's a bold statement. Never gonna trade him. That's a bold statement. And then if I was Anthony Edwards, I'd throw some shit out there, but like, hey man, Devin Booker, what I mean, I wouldn't mind playing with Devin Booker. Yeah, I'm saying, get the energy out there, man. Just get the feels, man. Because what Phoenix needs is a rim protector. And I will flip Rudy Gobert, which with Phoenix, you can easily get Rudy Gobert, and then when you have the playoff situations, you can have Nurkic come in and play for him in certain positions at certain times. That's what I would do, but that's just me. Also, Boston is officially the first team into the Eastern Conference Finals, the conference finals. Boston clinched their spot last night against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Boston might make the NBA Finals, and I say might because I don't trust Boston. I've said this numerous times on this podcast. I think Boston's good, but I don't trust them. I don't trust this team. And the question is, when you get into the Eastern Conference Finals, are you playing the Knicks? Are you playing the Pacers? And to be honest with you, if I'm Boston, I'm rooting my ass off for the Pacers. I am rooting my ass off for the Pacers because I do not want to play the Knicks. Because the Knicks are not going to go down easy, which makes you spend energy. It makes you have to play harder. It makes you have to do extra shit. The Pacers are good. The Pacers are good. But we're seeing in this series against the Knicks. Excuse me. We're seeing in this series against the Knicks. They're limited. They can't defend. They're not really that great at defending. They can't really rebound because the Knicks are killing them on the offensive boards. So now you having all of these situations, all of these innuendos, and all of these problems. I don't think that the Boston Celtics can afford to go up against the fucking Knicks. They cannot afford that because the Knicks are not gonna fall. They're not gonna go away easy. They're gonna make you fight. They're gonna make you play. They're gonna make you actually exert energy because you're gonna have to put them away. And the more those games go on, you start to realize, fuck, we're talented, but they got heart. And I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, as good as Boston is, we're seeing it. Boston has moments where they don't like show up sometimes. Like they just don't have the wherewithal to keep pushing and keep fighting and keep going. And I feel like that's kind of why I look at this team and I'm like, if I was Boston, I'm rooting for the Pacers to win Game 6 and Game 7. I'm rooting for Pacers to win Game 6 and 7 because with them, at least I know we could take advantage of certain things. With the Knicks, it's not about the talent that the Knicks have. It's about the heart the Knicks have. And heart will get you a lot of places. Your grit, your determination. Boston has shown you in numerous playoff series, in the Miami series, and even in the Cavaliers series. They kind of fall asleep at the wheel a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like they fall asleep at the wheel a little bit too much for me. And once they fall asleep at the wheel, you can kind of catch them. You can have games against them where they just sleepwalk through the game, and you're like, what the yo, you do realize this is the fucking playoffs. Like why are you sleepwalking through the game, sir? It's games like that. Jason Tatum sometimes don't show up. Jalen Brown sometimes just gotta do everything. It's like I don't know if Boston and Boston also has this idea in their heads that they're gonna die by the three. And it's like Jason Tatum, you're good at threes, but that's not your game, bro. Get your ass down the court. Hit the motherfuckers in the paint. You got the body, the lit, the ability to just finger roll it in, my nigga. Dunk on motherfuckers. Like you got the ability to do that, and y'all still be trying to shoot threes. Why? That's not y'all. You're not fucking Golden State. Get your ass in the paint and do damage. If the Knicks get to the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm telling people right now, this shit ain't gonna be a cakewalk like Boston think it's gonna be. Jalen Bronson is gonna show the fuck up. DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, let that shit go 1-1 to MSG. That's pressure on Boston, like immediate pressure. See, Cleveland ain't won, Miami ain't won. You go to New York and you tied 1-1. That's immediate fucking pressure on you to step it up. I don't know. I don't know, man. That's a little different. Like I said, Denver has a chance to clinch their spot in the Western Conference Finals last night. Also, Dallas went into OKC and whooped that ass. Lord, Lord, Lord. I have been off on Dallas for a while, but I gotta be honest. Dallas could get to the NBA Finals, and I mean they could beat Minnesota or they could beat Denver. Dallas could get to the NBA Finals because the one thing about the Denver Nuggets or the Minnesota Timberwolves is that there's not a defense in place for you to stop Luka or Kyrie Irving. There's not. Luka's limping and hurting and shit, and he's still putting up triple doubles. The fuck, like like no, nigga. And if they and let's say they go to a game 7, Minnesota wins, and now you got a game 7 on I think it'd be Sunday or Monday between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. You give Dallas and then Dallas win tomorrow. You give Dallas an extra couple of days of rest. Luka could get held up. Kyrie could get himself into a man. That'll be bruh, bruh. That's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just different. It's a different type of energy, man. But yeah. Oh no, basketball is that's doing great, man. It's great. Now, before I wrap this all up, of course, the NFL is officially back. The schedule was released yesterday. I'm about to do bleed black and gold, my Saints show. I'm about to go down, go through the schedule for the Saints, talk about it. But some games that are very intriguing, to say the least. Um, week 1, of course, me and my brother Juan did. I showed it last night on uh his Instagram page, All Sports Talks. So go follow him there. Um, and we talked about the week 1 matchups that we are very intrigued by. He picked the Packers and the Eagles, which I am looking super forward to kick off. They're gonna be playing Friday in Brazil, which is so weird. Baltimore and Kansas City. If we've learned anything over the last couple of years, you can kind of catch Kansas City sleeping at week 1. So if I was Baltimore with all of the situations going on in Kansas City with the receivers and you know the offensive line that they have, this is the best time to show Baltimore's new offense. Show Baltimore that offensively that you learned something for the conference championship game that you had against them. So I'm looking forward to that game. Of course, like I said, Cleveland and Dallas last night. Dallas going to Cleveland, which Tom Brady will be the lead announcer, one of the lead announcers, for that game. Um, Dallas going on the road to start off the season sounds so weird. I don't think. When's the last time you heard Dallas on the road? I know last year, but like I told my like I told my brother Juan last night, I said Dallas against the Giants is like an easy dub. Like that's an obvious dub in week one. Anytime you go on, you play another team against Dallas. I don't give a shit if you at home or on the road. You play Dallas. Dallas plays any other team not named the Giants in week one. They probably gonna get their ass whooped. And now you go on the road against a healthy Cleveland Browns defense. The way they lost last year in the playoffs too, good fucking luck, dude. Like I don't know what you want me to tell you. I know Mike Zimmer is there as the defense coordinator, but it's gonna take a minute for that defense to really get going. I don't know what Cleveland's offense is gonna look like with Deshaun Watson now, but with the weapons he's got a Jared Judy, he's got a Amari Cooper, who I don't think Amari Cooper and the Dallas Cowboys played since he got traded to Cleveland. So that might be the first time Amari Cooper plays Dallas since being traded to Cleveland. Shit, yeah. Holy fuck. Yeah, that'd be the first time he played Dallas since he got traded. So, yo, that's gonna be an interesting game. I just realized that shit. That is the first time Amari Cooper's gonna play Dallas since getting traded. That's nuts. That's crazy. And of course, like I said, you got the Jets and the 49ers playing on week one. That's awesome. I'm happy for the Jets. Just keep your quarterback upright and you should be okay. But that's gonna be an interesting game to say the least because the 49ers and the Jets have both two good defenses, but Brock Purdy having to now go up against the Jets defense, an elite Jets defense to start the season, this isn't. This is gonna be interesting. I want to see how that's gonna look. I want to see how that's gonna look. Um, and of course, like I said last night, my game of Week One is Detroit versus the Rams. I got Detroit going to the Super Bowl this upcoming season. I've been a fan of Detroit for the last couple of years. I know Detroit's got something brewing. That offense is great. That defense hopefully has improved. And if it has, God Almighty, please watch out NFL. Some noticeable games in the season that is going to be pretty interesting to watch over the next couple. When the season starts to progress. Week two, you got Caleb Williams making his primetime debut against C.J. Stroud here in Houston. Looking forward to that game. I'm not a huge fan of Caleb Williams. I'm a massive fan of C.J. Stroud. I can't wait to see how that game is going to look against Houston. Um, of course, Saquon Barkley returning to New York in Week 7. Speaking of Week 7, the Saints will be hosting the Denver Broncos in New Orleans, which means Sean Payton's first game as the defending as the visiting head coach. Pretty interesting to fucking see. That's gonna be pretty goddamn weird. Kansas City has got two games back to back. They got Baltimore to start it off, and then they got literally Cincinnati right after that. But they're at home. That's gonna be an intriguing games to watch and see. Cincinnati last year. Cincinnati always starts off a little slow, so I want to see how Cincinnati's gonna look in the next couple of weeks, especially those first two games. First game is those two. It'll be pretty interesting to see. Of course, the rookies play against each other. Hopefully, they stay upright and play each other, which is Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. Looking forward to that matchup. Kirk Cousins returns back to Minnesota, Week 14. That's gonna be an interesting matchup. Derek Carr plays the Raiders in Week 14 as well. Week 17. That's gonna be an intriguing game. Um, but I'm looking forward to these games, man. It's gonna be so many games. I think that's gonna be very interesting. I saw a lot of games, and it felt like a lot of these games also happened last year. Like Minnesota's playing Tennessee again in Minnesota on Monday Night Football. Like, did I see that shit last year? The fuck? Like, did I see that shit last year? But I'm looking forward to it, man. There's some games I'm looking super forward to. Another Black Friday game, Raiders, Kansas City. They moved it from Christmas to now the day after Thanksgiving, which is pretty funny. We got 2 Christmas games. I'm trying to find tickets for the Baltimore Ravens Houston Texans game, which is gonna be here. Um, I'm looking forward to this NFL season, man. I am so looking forward to this NFL season, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, man. When this comes out, tell me what games you are looking forward to for this NFL season. Until next time, man. I am Brandon Janeau. See y'all next week. Peace.